We welcome you to the Home Depot SEC on CBS in Gainesville. A brand new game day experience instilled by new head coach Urban Meyer. This is called the Gator Walk as the members of the 2005 Gator football team enter the swamp. And we invite you inside as well, where you will join more than 90,000 who have gathered here for this first SEC meeting between these two, the Volunteers of Tennessee and the Gators of Florida. It is a warm, muggy evening. We welcome you to Gainesville, everybody. I'm Vern Lundquist, along with Todd Blackledge and Tracy Wolfson. Over the last 15 years, this rivalry has evolved into one of the most intense in all of college football. In the early years, it was owned by Florida. You can mention Steve Spurrier anytime you want right now, but the keel has been even in the last 4 years. Tennessee has won 3 of 4, including the last 2 visits here. Tonight, however, a new ingredient into this bitter stew, the Urban Meyer experience, as the new head coach takes the field for the first time, his first taste of Tennessee and his first taste of the SEC. It'll be interesting, Tom.
Yeah. Well, so far, Urban has pushed all the right buttons with this team, with former players, the alumni, the whole Gator Nation. But tonight is significant because we get to start to answer that one lingering question that is still out there. How will this Urban Meyer system, the spread option offense, work in the SEC against the kind of defenses he'll face week in and week out? No better way to test it than against these Tennessee Volunteers, who are very physical and very fast.
Florida has won its first 2, albeit not Tennessee. Tennessee won its first 2 weeks ago against UAB. In that game, Eric Ainge got the start. He was ineffective. He was replaced by senior Rick Clausen, and it will be Clausen who gets the start tonight.
Eric Ainge is a very talented quarterback. I think he'll still be a star at the University of Tennessee in the future. But right now, Rick Clausen is a better fit for this Tennessee offense for the simple reason that he has a little more maturity and a little more willingness to take what the defense gives him. Because of that, the team moves a little more effectively with him at the helm. That's why he's starting tonight. We'll see Eric Ainge, probably the 3rd series, but I think unless this game goes really bad for Tennessee, the ball game will be in the hands of Rick Clausen.
Can Tennessee make it 3 in a row in the swamp? The answer coming up in the next 3.5 hours. Stay with us. Good luck charm for the Gators. You touch the Gator head before you enter Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. And when you do, you're welcomed by the roar of one of the loudest crowds in all of college football. And for the first time tonight, Urban Meyer gets to experience this. Here are the Gators of Florida. Balls of Tennessee don't waste any time. They come out almost side by side. Tennessee and Florida. Kick is next.
The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Sonic, The Longest Yard, The Home Depot, and by Budweiser.
Cinema Verite, the art of film imitating life.
Get ready for the greatest ass-kicking fiesta in the history of football. I'll leave it up to you guys.
I've been right here, waiting for this.
When 2 great college football rivals like Tennessee and Florida meet every fall, life ends up imitating art.
5 years since our last championship. 5 years.
Hard to believe it's been 5 years since the Gators won the SEC, and even longer for the vaunted Vols. A game that challenges a player's dignity.
It's about pride.
We have to make a statement here tonight of what Tennessee football is about.
Everybody does their job. Can we get that done today, Gators?
3 hours of emotion. And intensity.
Payback. Think about that for a second.
Tennessee, Florida. Hollywood couldn't script it this good. The Miracles.
Deep ball, end zone, bodies. Oh my! Touchdown, Tennessee!
And the Meyer.
Another fumble.
That is the third bad exchange.
But this is unbelievable.
A rivalry whose very essence is defined by which team can gain that one final longest yard.
We got a little time left. We can still do this. I'm begging you. Put your hands in here. Yeah.
It's going to be in the end zone. It's a touchdown. Jamar Gaffney. Kick on the way. The kick is long and high and spinning. Good!
Tennessee, Florida. The saga continues.
Adam Sandler's come a long way from Happy Gilmore, don't you think? We are in HD again tonight in the swamp. 90,000 plus on hand, 87 degrees. Wind out of the southwest at 2 miles per hour, and the forecast continued warm and humid. Florida won the toss. They have opted to take the option in the second half, and so Tennessee will receive the football to open the game. Eric Wilbur will kick off. He shanked 2 out of bounds last week against Louisiana Tech. Chris Hannon and Inky Johnson are the 2 deep men for the Volunteers. There's Hannon, number 13. Johnson wearing number 29.
Kind of a bunch formation for Florida. Breaking the huddle to Urban Meyer, a big guy on special teams, like to change things up from week to week.
And the kick from Wilbur. This will be Inky Johnson at the 5-yard line. Fumble. He recovers it, but he's dropped at the 17-yard line. Marcus Manson, third-string running back, wearing number 2, is down on special teams.
Well, a lot of nervous energy in a game like this. Inky Johnson trying to make something happen early along. Nowhere to go. Good coverage by the Gator.
Well, I thought he had dropped it. He did not. Here is Rick Clausen. Older brother Casey, 4-year starter at Tennessee. Rick started his career at LSU. He had 1 start there. This is only his 4th start at Tennessee. And he'll go deep on first down to Hannon. And that was a possible catch.
A little bit outside on the throw, trying to loosen up this Florida pass defense right away. I think one of the real things Tennessee has to prove in this game is that their receivers can beat man coverage, because Florida has some excellent man cover corners. That's the best one right there, D. Webb.
Second down, 10. Wide receivers are bunched to the left side on second down. Toss, left side, Gerald Briggs Jr. out near the 25-yard line. Nice opening run. Now let's take a look at this Volunteer offense. Up front, it's Sears, Smith, Richie Gandy getting his first start of the year. He's been injured all summer. Cody Douglas and Albert Tawina. Riggs and Anderson in the backfield, and Hannon, C.J. Payton join the tight end, Chris Brown. 3rd and 2.
You mentioned the injury to Gandy. Rob Smith was former starting center last week, or in the first game, I should say, against UAB. He's back to left guard, his more natural position.
Clausen, oh, he's under pressure. Hauled down all the way back at the 10 by Jarvis Herring.
We're going to see a lot of pressure defenses by both of these teams. Jarvis Herring, the strong safety, is coming from up top. He is coming all the way. He's got outside contained, and he never lost his outside position. That's why he was able to make the sack on Rick Clausen. A bootleg, you expect that guy to chase and not stay at home.
Britton Colquitt, the latest of the kicking Colquitts, his second punt of the year. And it is beautiful. Chases Vernell Brown all the way back to the 31. And here's Brown, the senior, number 16. A 54-yard punt by the redshirt freshman Britton Colquitt. His brother Dustin graduated a year ago. There's Antonio Reynolds, who was downfield. 12 on the return, but a fine effort by Colquitt.
They said that the one thing they haven't been able to get him to do is turn the punts over. Well, that first one turned over beautifully.
Chris Leak has thrown a touchdown pass in every game he has started for the University of Florida. Make this his 24th start. He's 15-8 as a starter. And you look at the spread offense of Urban Meyer. Play fake, Leak, left side. Chad Jackson has the catch. Reached up and took it away.
He took it away from a freshman. Gerard Mayo, the freshman linebacker who's in there because of the injury to Jason Mitchell, was in good position, but he's going against a very talented receiver in Chad Jackson. Watch the protection. They're going to fake the play action. Good protection for Leak, and then he just throws it up for his guy. When you have confidence in a receiver, you give him a chance to make plays.
Deshaun Wynn is alongside Chris Leak. He gets the toss and comes left. He's got blocking help. And Wynn, who had over 100 last week, is all the way down to the 20. There is a flag at the 35.
It's going to come back because Tate Casey, who got a monster block, turned up field a hair too soon. He came in motion to block inside, and he got a great block, but he turned up field just a half a step too soon. A well-designed play to try to get Wynn to the edge.
Illegal motion, number 84 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Now let's check the Florida lineup now after the call on Casey. You met Leak. Up front, it's Hand, Washington, Mike DeGore with his 41st start in succession tonight. Miller and Butler. They do not play a fullback. Deshaun Wynn in the backfield. Baker, Caldwell, Chad Jackson, the 3 wides, and the tight end is Tate Casey.
This is the big question Dan Mullen had. How would they guard the 4 or 5 receiver sets?
Dan Mullen, the offensive coordinator. Here's Dallas Baker. And Baker inside the 33-yard line. Let's check the Tennessee defense now. And they have a big, make it huge, defensive line. Up front, Harrelson, Harrell, Mahalona, and Jason Hall. The linebackers, Omar Gaither, Kevin Simon, and Gerard Mayo. And the secondary, the star there is Jason Allen, number 18, came back for this season after having thoughts of entering the NFL draft. 2nd down and 7. And again, the empty backfield with Leak behind Mike DeGore, his center. Play clock might have wound down.
He's talking to the center, Mike DeGore. I think they called a false start on Mike DeGore. And this is interesting because Mike DeGore, the center, who's been starting for 4 years, makes a lot of the protection calls. So he's standing up and looking around and moving around while his hand's on the football. And if he's moving that ball around, that's what's got called for the false start. You see Mike DeGore is right there in the middle, and didn't see anything that warranted a penalty there, but that's where the call was on Mike DeGore.
2 pre-snap penalties on Florida in the early going. Here's Leak. Pressured down at the 50. Inky Johnson, in chorus, Johnson, number 29, shot in from the left side.
I think Chris Leak knew that there was pressure coming, but he didn't have anybody to open to throw the football to right away. And then when he did try to reload, it was too late. Again, this is a fast Tennessee defense. Inky Johnson, one of the extra defensive backs that's in there. And a couple different defensive packages we'll see. 3 down linemen right now for Tennessee with 6 defensive backs on the field.
Sacks are even at 1 apiece. That was a loss of 10. It's 3rd and 22. 2 wides to the right side. There's a slot receiver right. 4-man rush from the corner. They got Leak again. Back to the 41. Jason Allen. They disguise the coverage and send Allen on the blitz.
Well, one of the problems when you have an empty backfield, you don't have an extra blocker. Jason Allen is right here. He's going to come under pressure. The line is going to block that way, and nobody is in the backfield to pick up the extra rusher. Now, ideally, either the left guard or left tackle, if he sees that, can fan out to pick him up. But again, very fast off the edges on 2 consecutive plays for Tennessee.
That will bring on Eric Wilbur to punt it away. Jonathan Hefney is back to return it. Florida excels at punt coverage. And here is the punt taken by Hefney at the 20. They didn't excel this time, and Hefney with a collision with Eric Wilbur, the punter.
Yeah, I think the reason Eric Wilbur made the tackle was because he didn't kick it where the coverage was running. The coverage ran right, he kicked it left. He said, I better make up for my mistake.
Welcome back to Gainesville. For Florida, tonight's game is also about restoring the aura of the swamp. The last 2 times Tennessee has come here, not only have they won, but they've basically rubbed it in the Gators' faces. As Casey Clausen climbed into the stands, and he led the Tennessee marching band in the singing of Rocky Top. The Gators can't get that image out of their head. In the weight room is that picture of Clausen with a headline that says, "This stops now." The Gators say if they are going to take back the swamp, it must start today. Back to you guys.
All right, Tracy. Well, this is a team that under Spurrier, those 12 years, very seldom lost here. But in the last 3 years, they have lost 6 games at home. 2 of those to the Volunteers. 18-yard punt return has given Tennessee the ball at the 36-yard line. Second possession. Hand off to Riggs, going left, gets blocking help, and he spilled up near the 45-yard line. 8-yard gain. Florida defense up front, Ray McDonald, Marcus Thomas, Stephen Harris, and Jeremy Mincy. Keep your eye on number 95 tonight. Todd McCullough, Brandon Seiler, Earl Everett are the linebackers. And in the secondary, Demetrius Webb, Kyle Jackson, Jarvis Herring, and the senior Vernell Brown. Second and 2. Draw play. Riggs. A lot of room across the 50. Still going as he's finally hauled down at the 40-yard line. That's a gain of 15. Earl Everett with the tackle.
Yeah, really back-to-back 2 excellent runs by Gerald Riggs. They thought last week or in the game against UAB he didn't make the right cuts. Well, this time he looks like he is on his game. You know, when you have an off week, that first week you can get a little more physical. And they did a little more contact with Gerald Riggs last week than they did at any time in the preseason. He looks sharp tonight. 3 carries for 31 yards.
Opened the year with 110 against UAB. His 7th game in excess of 100 yards for Tennessee. Here's Clausen with time, goes deep, and that one a tweener. Bounces at the 25-yard line.
A little pressure by Ray McDonald. Mentioned him earlier. He's very quick, and Ray McDonald played inside at defensive tackle last year, and they moved him to defensive end because they wanted to get a little more speed on the edge and start with that position. And Ray McDonald has played extremely well these first 2 weeks. He's one of those guys that has benefited from the new style of Urban Meyer that has really challenged Ray McDonald to play hard every play, and he has become a real force so far early in the season for this Gator defense.
Had a reputation last year of taking a few plays off. That's not been a complaint this time out. Second and 10, no score. Midway through the first quarter, here's the deep handoff to Riggs. He comes right. Good lateral pursuit. Jarvis Herring was up there. Todd McCullough was there. Jeremy Mincy. There was a congregation of Gators.
That kind of run, I think, plays to the strength of the Florida defense because their strength is speed, their ability to run to the football. Watch all these blue shirts run to the football, front side and backside. Ray McDonald chasing from the backside. This is what they do best, and that's run. They're not as physical or as big as this Tennessee offensive line if you run right at them.
3rd and 11. Receivers bunched at the top of the screen. And they're joined by Gerald Riggs Jr. He gets the quick screen out on the left side. It goes to C.J. Phaeton. Riggs was a blocker. But that's an inconsequential gain. It'll be 4th down.
That formation confused Florida a little bit with Riggs out there. He was out there to lead block on the receiver screen. But again, you see the speed of that Florida defense able to make up for it quickly.
Riggs heads to the bench. Britton Colquitt comes on. His father, Craig, of course, was the first of the kicking Colquitts. Then his cousin, Jimmy. Last year, his brother, Dustin. And here is Brighton with his 3rd kick. Britton, rather. Into the end zone. It'll be a touchback. First thrust across midfield, but no damage. Florida has the ball when we come back.
Time now for our playbook by Hartford. We're going to take a look at the Florida spread option offense. Now, one of the phases of it looks just like the old-fashioned triple option. It starts with a dive to the fullback, and you read the defensive end. If he collapses down, then the quarterback, Chris Leak, is going to pull it out of the back stomach and go to the next guy and option him. If that man takes the quarterback, you pitch it outside to the trail back. Triple option offense. Now the key to having big plays in the option game, you must have wide receivers that can block downfield. If they can stick on those blocks and hold them, that opens up big plays on the perimeter. We haven't seen an option yet from the Florida offense. We might in this second offensive series.
Now Chris Leak, there's Urban Meyer 5 years ago, the receivers coach at Notre Dame, and what a meteoric rise. 2 years at Bowling Green, he accepted the job at Utah. He has won 18 in a row as a coach. And here is the handoff to the dive man. That's Deshaun Wynn, not much there. Urban Meyer played as a defensive back at Cincinnati, graduated from there, and got his master's degree at Ohio State. He was a graduate assistant, but you and I were chatting last night. I can't think of any comparable rise in the coaching ranks to his ascension in the last 4 years.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. And along the way, he's developed an offense that is kind of the envy of college football right now. But again, this is the test against a team the caliber athletically of Tennessee.
2nd down. There's the handoff to Wynn. And no, it's Keyston Moore, number 33. Moore is a freshman out of Arlington, Texas. And Urban Meyer telling us he's probably his most dependable and well-rounded running back.
Yeah, even though he's young, he does a little bit of everything. Blocks well, runs well, catches the ball. And this is a very good sign for the Tennessee defense because they have been very sound so far. They gave up the 1 pass play, but other than that, they've been there to stuff the run and rush the passer.
3rd and 8, 3 down, but 6 on the line. Let's see how many are coming. Here's the audible from Chris Leak. Only 3. Leak drills it. Complete out to the 35-yard line. Catch is made by Janelle Cornelius.
That was a good job of Chris Leak. Anticipating blitz, but then when he saw that it wasn't a blitz and a zone defense, just waiting and finding the open area. A lot of attention paid to Andre Caldwell inside, and that opened things up for Jamel Cornelius.
Gain of 14 on the need of 11, and Leak is perfect 3 of 3. He hit 17 in a row in the first game, a win over Wyoming. That was a new Florida record, eclipsing the mark held by Steve Spurrier. And here is Keyston Moore coming left and running into a bunch of white shirts.
And credit Kevin Simon for blowing that play up. The middle linebacker came on a blitz right up inside, hit Moore in the backfield, and that forced him to try to bounce outside. And not a good idea against this fast defense. But Kevin Simon, who is just trying to stay healthy. I mean, he is an excellent football player if he can stay healthy. And so far off to a good start tonight.
Kevin Simon has had 1 complete year without injury. That was in 2003, and he led the team in tackles. 2nd down, 11, loss of 1. Here's Keyston Moore. There's a little variation on a theme, and it's Deshaun Wynn with Keyston Moore. It's a nicely designed play.
Boy, and here's what's impressive about Deshaun Wynn. He is 230 pounds, and watch him stick his left foot in the ground as he comes on this zone play and make Omar Gaither Freeze, the linebacker. He's 230 pounds. He's going to stick his left foot in and cut back to the inside. That's hard to do for a little back, a scat back, but really hard for a 230-pound back.
Lance Butler with a nice kick-out block on Jason Allen as well to get Wynn through. And Deshaun Wynn might have been shaken up on the last play. It was a gain of 16, a first down at midfield.
Changing the play. Chris Leak looking to the sideline, getting a signal.
Tennessee threatening a blitz. There's the hand to Keyston Moore. Shoots through right tackle across the 40 down to the 35. Another big gain. And that's a gain of 14 as Florida moving the ball now.
When you talk about what are the keys for Florida in this game, they've got to execute this offense at top speed. So far, we've seen a pretty good job of that. The second thing, this offensive line must protect Chris Leak. Now, part of that is him calling the right protections and knowing where the pressure's coming from. Defensively, that front seven has to stop the Tennessee run game. That is most critical for the Gator defense.
Gain of 14, first down at the 35. 5 wide again, including Deshaun Wynn. Tennessee brings 5. There's the hot receiver right side. It's Wynn. Avoids a tackle, gets a block from Baker, and he's got a first down inside the 20.
We've seen Chris Leak look like he doesn't know where the pressure is coming from early. This time he knows exactly where it's coming from. Right into his face. He knows where to go with the football. Gets rid of it before the hit comes. And Deshaun Wynn turns it into a big play. And again, we see the quick feet and the niftiness of Deshaun Wynn. Deshaun Wynn did not play at all in the first game against Wyoming. A disciplinary reason. Had over 100 yards in the second game against Louisiana Tech.
That's a gain of 17. That is the 4th play in excess of 10 yards. And there's a reverse.
Look out.
Andre Caldwell, touchdown, Florida. His second run of the season. The first was for 26 yards. This one for 18.
This is a way that you go against a fast defense. Get them running one way and come back the other way. Beautifully played.
Chris Hetland is on for the extra point. He missed 2 last week in the win over Louisiana Tech. Philip Fulmer, unhappy look on his face. The extra point is up and good.
Well, here's Caldwell right here. Now the option looks like it's coming this way. Watch the Tennessee defense all chase. And then the reverse comes back around this way. Excellent execution at full speed. Show the option, get that defense running, and then come back the other side. And then at the very end, Dallas Baker gets the key block right at the corner of the end zone to score Caldwell. Perfect design, perfect time to call it. Gators on the board first.
At the end of the play, a reason for celebration. Dallas Baker, Andre Caldwell.
That was an impressive drive. You know, that first drive, Tennessee got after him a little bit, or the second drive, I should say. Disrupted him a little bit. That time, made some nice adjustments in their pass protection. Got a couple good runs in there to loosen up things. And then that threat of the option just always has to be accounted for, and they came back with the reverse off of it.
Eric Wilbur to kick off. First year as the kickoff specialist is the long-timer Matt Petrovich. Used up his eligibility. Here's Hannon, number 13, across the 20. Get a complete wrap-up from all of today's action, including an exclusive college football highlight show tonight only on CBSSportsline.com.
I think the other thing that was good about that drive for Florida, obviously you want to take the lead first in a game like this, but it gave that defense a little time to rest. I don't think this defense has as much depth up front as Tennessee.
Third series, and that means Eric Ains, the freshman, as promised by Philip Fulmer and Randy Sanders. Ainge, the sophomore from Oregon. Goes deep right side. He's got a man open, but he overthrows him by 5 yards. Intended for Jason Swain. Eric Ainge in an intense battle last year with Brent Schaefer for the starting job, and ultimately won it. He then was injured last play of the half against Notre Dame. Rick Clausen came on to start the rest of the year, including the Gator Bowl win. But as you said, Todd, long term, Ainge is the guy.
Yeah, he's got tremendous talent. And it wasn't that he didn't play well to start the game 2 weeks ago. It's when he came back in, he didn't play well.
Here's the handoff to Riggs. Ouch. Whoa. Jeremy Mincy was first. Marcus Thomas was also in the neighborhood. There's Mincy, number 57. Well, in that first game, Eric Ainge got the starting job, despite, I think, a consensus that Rick Clausen had outplayed him in training camp in the summer. But he was 5 of 14, and Clausen came on 17 of 24. The numbers favored Rick Clausen. Eric Ainge, of course, his uncle is Danny Ainge. We talked to him yesterday. He said he talked to Danny 4 days ago. Danny said, just keep doing what you're doing. Work your way through it. On third down, rush coming. Hot receiver out to the near side. That'll be far short of the first down. Catch is made by Gerald Riggs, but it'll be fourth down for Tennessee. Brandon Seiler, number 40, gets the crowd pumped.
Brandon Seiler is an excellent football player. I mean, he is a guy that's one of the real leaders on this defense, even though he's young. He came in for Channing Crowder last year as a true freshman and led the team in tackles. He's one of the real leaders, even though he's just a sophomore.
He's out of Orlando Evans High School, was recruited by Tennessee as a tight end and opted to come to Florida. A little bit of pressure from Reggie Nelson. The catch is made by Vernell Brown at the 33. Flag, 2 flags, 3 flags. One more flag, we could have a parade.
Illegal block in the back, and Florida, where it looked like they would start out in excellent field position, is going to be knocked back a few yards.
Now Philip Fulmer giving continuing instruction of Britton Coldwell.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 4 on the receiving team, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, 1st and 10.
That's a freshman cornerback, Avery Atkins. And a slight look of unhappiness for Urban Meyer. 7-0 Gators. They have the ball. 2:28 to go, first quarter.
And now for the Home Depot tools of success. And how did the Gators build that last touchdown drive? It started with a couple good runs by Deshaun Wynn. Then Chris Leak read the blitz and got the ball out quickly to Wynn, who made a nice move on the sideline. And that set up the final part, the touchdown on the reverse, Andre Caldwell. That's a lot, Home Depot.
Urban Meyer, 41 years of age, wife Shelley, 2 daughters, son. They've moved a lot. Notre Dame, Bowling Green, Ohio, Salt Lake City, Gainesville. 3rd game, first in the SEC for Meyer. Chris Leak has hit 4 of 4 so far. He's got it still. Fires it back across the shoulder and finds Chad Jackson up at the 34-yard line. Right in front of Antoine Stewart, number 24.
The thing that this offense does to a defense, number one, it makes you prepare for a whole lot of different things. And whenever there is the legitimate threat of an option, you have to be fundamentally sound. You have to make sure that you play assignment football. They do the fake of the option a lot to throw the ball downfield.
Perfect 5 of 5. Keyston Moore's in the backfield. There's a handoff to Deshaun Wynn, and this time Tennessee read it perfectly. Jason Hall, number 94, was the first man there. Now, we were talking with Chris Leak, the junior, on Thursday afternoon. He said, hey, wait a minute. I've been an option quarterback my freshman year at Independence High School in Charlotte.
A little different deal.
A little.
I ran the option in high school, too. It's a lot different. especially when you got guys that run like these Tennessee defenders. But the key is just making quick option decisions. It's more about being a decision maker than it is being a great runner.
Third down. Here's Leak. Out of the backfield. That'll be good for the first as Chad Jackson gets it. You know, you lead me perfectly into a no. Dan Mullen is the 32-year-old offensive coordinator of the Gators. He came here with Urban Meyer. Told us yesterday that Barry Switzer once said the best decision maker he ever had when he was running the wishbone goes back all the way to the early 70s, Steve Davis. Yeah. And the Oklahoma Sooners went 34-1-1 under Steve Davis. There's Dan Mullen. 10 years ago, he was a tight end at Ursinus College playing for the Bears. I said, what was your biggest rivalry there? He said, well, we played Dickinson in the last game every year. On first down, Leak steps up, goes deep, got a man, but there's good coverage, and it's picked off. No! Dropped.
Nice job by Andre Caldwell turning into a defender on that play. That was not a good decision by Chris Leak because he waited so long to throw the ball down the middle of the field. This is pretty good coverage. You're going to send both guys to the post here against two deep safeties, and Tennessee did a pretty good job of holding their position. It was Antoine Stewart, the free safety, number 24, who was back there covering. And he had a nice beat on the ball, and if Caldwell doesn't go and try to strip it out, that is an interception.
Chris Leak has not been intercepted thus far this season. The streak is now at 62 passes in a row. Here's the toss to Deshaun Wynn. Not much blocking help. He had Chad Jackson out there, but Jackson had 3 white shirts he was trying to cover. And we have just about reached the end of the first here in a muggy swamp. Perfectly named tonight.
Yes, it is. Oh. As long as there's no mosquitoes, though, we'll be all right.
Mike Slive, the commissioner of the SEC, came by our open air booth a while ago and said, what, no air conditioning? Budget cuts. Third down. That's the end of the first with the score, Florida 7, Tennessee nothing. We'll return to Gainesville after this message and a word from your local station. Welcome back. Second quarter action from Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville. Florida has the ball 3rd and 8 at the 41. They lead it by 7. Chris Leak in at quarterback. Looks over at Josh Portis, the backup quarterback. Gets signals in. Blitz is threatened. Jason Allen is coming. Here's Leak going deep into double coverage. Overshoots Dallas Baker. It'll be 4th down. And this Florida team will have to punt, but they do have a 7-0 lead, Todd, and have been very impressive so far.
I think so. I mean, they've had a couple plays where it just hasn't gone their way. They've had a couple penalties, but credit Tennessee's defense, too. Again, this is one of the best defenses that Florida will face all season. They're very fast and very physical, but in that first quarter, 105 yards of offense for Florida, only 28 for Tennessee. So now the onus in this second quarter really on Rick Clausen and the Tennessee offense to get going.
Eric Wilbur is on the punt. Jonathan Hefney is deep. Fair catch called. Nice and high. And the catch is made at the 17-yard line. 42-yard punt. Nothing on the return. Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, Gainesville. Tennessee trails by 7. There are a couple of quarterbacks younger than Favre, Clausen and Ainge. And it will be Eric Ainge, and Arian Foster is the new tailback now for Tennessee.
I got to say, I'm a little surprised that it is Eric Ainge this possession. I knew he'd be in the 3rd, but I thought we'd see Clausen again.
Arian Foster gets the handoff and works his way to the 20-yard line. Well, you talked about the keys for Florida. How about the Volunteers?
Well, regardless of who's playing quarterback, the first thing is these Tennessee wide receivers must beat man coverage. We have not seen that yet. Only 2 for 5 for 9 yards. Offensive line, control the line of scrimmage because running the football is what Tennessee does best. Defensively, they've got to play sound versus the option. They were not sound on that reverse that was the touchdown for Florida.
2nd and 7 from the 20. Ball play, Arian Foster gets a block from his fullback, Corey Anderson. He's got a first down plus 3 yards out near the 30-yard line. Now let's go back to the studio. There's a player down, but we'll check in a moment. Here's Tim.
Vern and Todd, it's good to hear your voices again. Freshman Kenny Phillips intercepts Charlie Whitehurst. This is in the 3rd overtime. Miami doesn't get off to that 0-2 start. For Clemson, 2-1, and Boston College next week. What a tough schedule for Tommy Bowden. Back to Vern and Todd.
All right, Tim, good to hear your voice again.
This is not good for the Florida defense. Ray McDonald is down. It looks like they're looking at his right leg, and I think he got blocked from behind. I don't know.
Well, McDonald expected to be a key for this Florida team this year. Junior from Belle Glade.
He just kind of collapsed. He was being blocked by Albert Tawina, and it just looked like he lost it there.
CBS Sports coverage of the Home Depot SEC on CBS continues after this word from your local station. This stadium that holds 90,000 has gotten very quiet now with the injury to Ray McDonald. It appears to be his right knee. And the medical staff is tending to him. Urban Meyer very close by for a moment. McDonald will give way to Joe Cohen, who was a starter a year ago. He had 12 starts last year. Lost his position because of weight issues, conditioning issues, but he'll have to go here. Here's the pass from Eric Ainge, comes deep left side, and that's going to be another first down at the 42-yard line. Gain of 11. Chris Hannon picked it off.
We mentioned Eric Ainge's struggles in the first game against UAB, particularly when he came back in after sitting out. But last year against Florida as a starter, he played extremely well. 16 of 24, 3 touchdowns, and he's off to a pretty good start here tonight.
Hands it off on the draw, and boy, that one went nowhere. Now let's go back to New York once again. Here's Tim Brando.
Remember what Virginia Tech did their first year in the ACC? What about Boston College? Can it happen again? Quentin Porter at quarterback. He goes 14 yards to Will Blackman. This guy's a cornerback. He returns punts, kicks. He does it all. They were down 14-3. They're now up 3 over Florida State at Chestnut Hill.
All right, Tim, I thought we had a scoop there. Silence from Tim Brando for more than 15 seconds. Loss of 2 at 2nd and 12. Well, we got Timmy back, and glad we did. Here's Ainge. Oh, boy. He drilled that ball, and that is a perfect pass. And a first down, Tennessee at the 44.
But it all started with outstanding protection up front because that enabled Eric Ainge to survey the defense. He started working left on this play and came all the way back to the right. Watch the protection up front and watch Eric Ainge start by looking this way and then come all the way back to the other side of the formation. He's reading left. It's not there, but he still has time to come back to the deep in route on the backside.
Catch is made by Josh Briscoe, a true freshman out of Shelby, North Carolina. That is his first catch in a Volunteer uniform. A gain of 16. It's first down at the 44. Ainge, quick flip. Has it complete at the 39-yard line, right in front of Jarvis Herring. Chris Brown, the tight end, his 3rd catch of the year. Here's Herring. He's I think, could be used as an example of Urban Meyer's philosophy. Jarvis Herring was the most outspoken when Ron Zook was let go a year ago, and really blew up the program and had some discipline issues of his own. Was suspended in the summer of 2004. He bought into Urban Meyer's program and has been a leader for this team all summer and into the fall. 2nd down. Ainge into the corner. diving try. It's incomplete for Chris Hannon inside the 10-yard line.
Going after D. Webb again, probably the top cover corner guy for Florida, and Hannon had a step on it. It's a pretty good throw by Ainge and a nice route by Hannon getting by Webb, just not able to come up with that combination. But again, that's, I think, the critical thing for Tennessee. These receivers beating man coverage, getting some separation, and making some big plays down the field.
Ainge is 3 of 4. It's 3rd and 6. Volunteers trail by 7. Screen pass, left side. That's caught by Arian Foster. And he works it inside the 30 for a first down. It'll be right at the 30, a gain of 9. Reggie Nelson, the junior college transfer, made the catch, but Philip Fulmer's team has a first down.
This was a nice call by Randy Sanders on 3rd down. They faked to the right, came back with a pre-designed screen, and if Reggie Nelson doesn't make this tackle, it might be for a touchdown because he had a lot of space downfield. But they got the first down, and that was the most important thing.
Randy Sanders, the coordinator, a former Tennessee quarterback in the mid-'80s. First down and 10. Anderson and Foster in the backfield. Arian Foster this time nothing doing. Marcus Thomas makes the tackle, number 44.
We just saw Randy Sanders, and last year in this game and through the first part of the season, he had 2 true freshmen that were playing quarterback. And so it forced them and him as the play caller to be very limited in the plays that he called with Eric Ainge. Much different this year now with Eric Ainge in the game. A whole second year in the system, much more comfortable with the entire offensive package and able to open up that playbook much more than he was last year for Eric Ainge.
Jim Bob Cooter, my favorite name in all of college football. 3rd quarterback. Don't pick your nose, Jim Bob. 2nd down, 11. Deep left side, nice catch. Jason Swain, as the defender Vernell Brown appeared to have lost his footing.
He looked like he slipped, and then it looked like the ball might be a little bit high for Jason Swain. Swain is one of the shorter of the Tennessee receivers at 6'1", a physical guy, but he goes up and makes the nice catch for another first down.
Jason Swain, 7-0, the ball at the 16, first down and 10. Swain, 21-year-old junior from Huntsville, Alabama. 3 wide to the right, 1 to the left. Comes the corner rush, and they don't throw the ball in the end zone. A flag is down.
Well,
now
flags.
2 of them.
Yeah. First one is offsides on Florida. The second one is going to be either holding or pass interference, one or the other, which is a more flagrant foul than the offsides.
Reggie Lewis, the backup cornerback, uses this time to come over to the near side of the field. Here's Steve Shaw.
There were 2 fouls on the defense. Offsides on the left defensive end. That penalty will be declined. Holding, number 22 on the defense. That penalty will be half the distance to the goal from the previous spot and will result in an automatic first down.
Reggie Lewis, one of the nickelbacks in the game, knew he was in bad position and just reached around and grabbed Brett Smith. Eric Ainge knew what he had, and a nice job by Eric Ainge taking a shot at it, even though he knew he had the offsides penalty.
6 first downs already on this drive. It's 1st and goal at the 8. High formation for Tennessee. Foster, maybe a yard. It's Gerald Riggs Jr., I beg your pardon, number 21 back in there.
Tennessee wants to run. I mean, where their strength is that left side with Aaron Sears. The left tackle is probably their best player up there. Rob Smith, who played center last week, back in left guard. That's where they run the best.
2nd and goal.
I think the Tennessee staff wants timeout.
That would be the reason 4 of them are out on the 40. Something I'm sure to do with personnel. who should be on, who wasn't on. Randy Sanders, Trooper Taylor, Philip Fulmer. And the angriest is the offensive coordinator, Randy Sanders. There's a flag down as well.
I think the flag's going to be waved off.
There is no flag on the play for breaking the huddle with 12 players. The sideline, head coach called timeout before the huddle broke. Therefore, timeout on Tennessee. That's their first timeout.
I think they all wanted a time call, huh? By far the most effective drive for Tennessee in this ball game. They have gone from the 17 to a second down and goal. The 12th play of the drive coming up. Florida got the touchdown, the only one we have seen on a reverse Andre Caldwell from 18 yards out. Vern Lundquist, Todd Blackledge, Tracy Wolfson at the Swamp in Gainesville.
Well, Tennessee called the timeout because they had too many guys in the huddle, but I think the real beneficiary was Florida. This defense really getting it taken to them here on this drive. Got a much-needed rest there with that timeout.
Gerald Riggs Jr. is the running back. 4 wides. Hannon, C.J. Phaeton to the left side. Here's Ainge with the change. Ainge goes in the corner, man open. Caught. Touchdown, Tennessee, Brett Smith. Eric Ainge, Brett Smith, his second catch of the year.
Great read by Eric Ainge. Great pickup on the blitz by the Tennessee offensive line and backs.
James Wilhoit, who missed an extra point in the game last year in Knoxville, but then came back to kick a 50-yard game-winning field goal, gets the extra point here, and the sophomore from Oregon leads the Volunteers the length of the field. He gets the touchdown to Brett Smith. We are tied at 7. All right, Tim, Eric Ainge, 6 of 7 on that drive and got the TD to Brett Smith.
Well, it was a blitz by Florida. They're going to bring pressure right here all the way across, and the receivers are going to cross. And Brett Smith, who is right here, is going to end up with the football in the corner. And he's going against Reggie Lewis. The blitz was picked up. That gave Ainge time to make the throw, and then on the little crossing route, Lewis got tied up with his own man, and it was an easy throw for Eric Ainge. So that was an outstanding drive. I mean, the offensive line, excellent on that drive. 12 plays, 83 yards. Brett Smith gets the touchdown, but a little bit of everything in that drive for Tennessee.
Andre Caldwell, one of the deep men. 83 yards in 12 plays. Brett Smith got the touchdown, the junior from Warren, Arkansas. Wilhoit will kick off. Caldwell and Tremaine McCollum are the deep man here. And this one will cut out of bounds. Boy, that is deflating.
Yes, it is.
Well, Eric Ainge, recall they had a second down and had to call a timeout because of too many people on the field, too many running backs, and Eric Ainge a little angry. But then, Rick Clausen's the first one out there, and Jim Bob Cooter came out to get a chest bump, and so did Trooper Taylor.
You know, I'm not saying that Tennessee wouldn't have had this drive and scored, but I got to go back to the injury to Ray McDonald. I really think that took a lot out of this Florida defense because he was one of the real emotional leaders, not just ability to rush the passer, but just his presence. Not being out there, I think, took a little bit away from that Florida defense on that drive.
Tracy Wolfson passing along the information to us that they have taken McDonald to the dressing room. They are checking his right knee, but that is as much as we know. 7:07 to go, 9:29 in the first half. The handoff goes to Deshaun Wynn out to the 38-yard line. Thursday on CBS, Gary Hogeboom survived 11 years as an NFL quarterback playing for the Cowboys, Colts, Cardinals, and Redskins. But how long will he last in the Guatemalan jungle as a castaway? Don't miss a new episode of Survivor Thursday at 8/7 Central on CBS. I'm only laughing because I know Gary Hogeboom. I'm trying to put him in Guatemala as a survivor. I'm having difficulty doing that. Oh, goodness. Second down. Keyston Moore, number 33. It comes right, and he doesn't pick up much. It'll be third and long. 103 to 107 in yardage.
Yeah, that was a heck of a play by Justin Harrell, the defensive tackle in there. In order to stop the zone running play, your defensive tackles have to make the plays. And Jesse Mahalona and Justin Harrell are two very, very good ones. Maybe two as good as any two defensive tackles in the SEC.
Third and 9. See Leak look over at the bench.
Tennessee not showing pressure on this third down. 4-man rush, it appears.
It is. Leak across the middle, caught up at the 45-yard line. I do not think that's going to be enough for the first down. And before the measurement, let's go back and check in once again. Here's Tim in New York.
All right, Vern, a lot of people have penciled in Texas already, and certainly the schedule eases up a bit. This is Rice quarterback Chase Clementi's hit and crack and fumble. And it's Franco Cam with a 1-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown. It's a 42-0 lead in the third for Matt Brown's guys. Back to you.
One of our spotters, the former stellar defensive lineman for the feisty Night Owls of Rice, Matt Sign, not happy. They're going to go for it on 4th and 1.
First big gamble of the game.
Well, close. See where the spot is made.
I think he got it. No, he did not.
Whoa. No measurement. How about that?
Well, you're saying let's go behind our most experienced lineman, Mike DeGore, the center, but you're going right at the strength of the Tennessee defense. Mahalona and Harrell got underneath. They had the better leverage. The linebackers came over the top, and Chris Leak not able to squirt forward for the first down.
I think Urban Meyer's reacting to the spot. He disagreed with where they had spotted the ball. No measurement on downs. First down, Tennessee in a 7-7 game. Left side. Gerald Wiggs Jr., Burnell Brown. Well, Eric Ainge, I started to say damn. Old habits, old habits. Eric Ainge led them on that 83-yard drive for the touchdown, and no doubt has earned a battlefield promotion.
Right, and I really thought that they would go back to Clausen, and at the time I thought it was a mistake because I don't like the idea of going back and forth with quarterbacks in a big game, particularly on the road. But Eric Ainge, in his second possession, earned himself the right to keep playing here in the first half.
2nd and 2, 7-7 game, under 7 to go before halftime. This is Riggs. And it's another Tennessee first down. Oh, proverbial moving the pile. It's going to the north. Eric Ainge's dad is here. His mom, that's his dad, Doug. Wife Diane is here as well. They've come from Beaverton, Oregon. The fabulous Ainge family. Doug Ainge, quite an athlete as well. And Eric Ainge, who entertained thoughts of going to BYU on a basketball scholarship, where his uncle Danny excelled. First down and 10. Oh my goodness. All the way to the 11-yard line. Riggs. 17-yard gain.
3 runs in a row, all 3 to the left side of the Tennessee offensive line. Behind Aaron Sears, blocking over here, Rob Smith. Watch the guard pull around to get a block. This is power football, vintage Tennessee power football. They collapse the backside. Cody Douglas, the guard, pulls around in front. Wide receivers blocking downfield, and they're just saying, hey, Florida, we're going to just pound on you here for a while.
Gain of 17. Hand off to Riggs. He breaks the first tackle and gets it to the 9. That's about it.
Number 21, Gerald Riggs carry.
I go back to the point you made. I really think it was relevant. The loss of Ray McDonald and the emotion.
Absolutely. You can feel it on the crowd, and if you can feel it with 90,000 people, I guarantee it was felt by the Florida sideline, because he has been playing so well, one of the veteran leaders up there, and they just don't have a lot of depth at that defensive line position to begin with. And Jeremy Mincey, who they're running at right now, is just kind of holding on right now. He's 265 pounds going against 340-pound Aaron Sears.
Arian Foster is the running back, and there's motion on the left side of the offensive line of Tennessee. This will cost them 5. Aaron Sears and Justin Reed, tight end.
Dead ball, false start, number 76 on the offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
That will make it 2nd and 13 at the 14-yard line. Philip Fulmer celebrated his 55th birthday on September 1st. '14th year as the head coach at Tennessee, his alma mater. Ainge, quick pop, tipped. Brandon Seiler got a hand up, number 40. And had he been able to hold on, whoa.
Well, and if he doesn't tip this, it's a touchdown, because the tight end was wide open running to the end zone. That's what Eric Ainge saw and tried to pop up and make the pass. But Seiler, reading the quarterback all the way, able to get a hand on the football. Chris Brown was open heading to the goal line, but Seiler with an instinctive play. Big play right here for the Florida defense. Clock down to 2. They didn't get it off. They didn't get the play off. They're waving it off. One of the problems when you go with a silent count is the center kind of snaps it when he thinks everybody's ready, and he's not looking at the clock.
Delay of game, quarterback on the offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Eric Ainge is back there slapping his hands, trying to get the center to make the snap after he makes the audible. He took too much time making the check, and then they weren't able to get the ball snapped in time.
That makes it 3rd and 18 at the 19. 3 go wide to the right side, 1 comes left.
You would expect zone defense here, try to keep it in front and force a field goal.
3-man rush for Gators. Ainge wants to pull up and throw, fires it. It's caught at the 1-yard line. Oh my goodness. It looks like Brett Smith made the catch.
What a throw by Eric Ainge. On the move under duress. It was only a 3-man rush, and that enabled Ainge to get outside the pocket and make the throw right at the goal line.
Replay is being used in the Southeastern Conference.
Look at Urban Myers pointing up to the booth. He wants it reviewed, and it looks like it's going to be.
So for the first time tonight, the replay is in operation. And the reaction you hear is from the crowd because they have just shown the replay on the Jumbotron. Brett Smith in isolation. Let's take a look.
Brett Smith moving with his quarterback. He starts in the corner and then moves back inside. Does he get under? I think the ball hit the ground. I think the ball hit the ground and then he scooped it back up. Now, it was called a catch on the field, and it has to be indisputable video evidence to prove otherwise or to reverse the call by the official. The call for the replay came from upstairs, not down on the field.
Steve Landis is the SEC replay official in the booth, and it is his charge, his responsibility to make this decision.
The ball doesn't bobble very much, but that one angle, I thought it hit the ground. Right there,
yes.
The ball's on the ground,
yes.
And I think they were going to have to rule this an incomplete catch.
I think that was the definitive replay.
Now, the guys up in the replay booth only see the angles that we see. They only get the ones that come from the TV truck. So they're seeing everything that we're seeing.
Well, a reminder that the replay is being used in the SEC this year for the first time. Retired referee Steve Landis is the replay official. And here are some of the rules. Every play gets reviewed. There's no limit on the number of reviews during the game. And 2 minutes are allotted to make the review. It must be indisputable evidence to overturn the call and have a direct competitive impact on the game.
And I think so far this season, the use of replay has been very effective. Right there is the most definitive replay where it looked like the ball was on the ground. Brett Smith gave it a wonderful effort to secure the football, but I don't think he had his hands underneath the ball, between the ball and the ground.
Indisputable visual evidence to overturn the call on the field. And I would gather from the reaction of Steve Shaw that he's being informed of the decision right now. You saw that graphic. Almost a third of the plays that have been reviewed have been overturned the first 2.5 weeks of the season. You an advocate of replay?
I do like replay. I think the way that they're using it in college football is pretty effective, because you hate to see a call have a dramatic impact on the game.
After review, video evidence shows that the ball hit the ground.
See, I think that's right.
They got it right.
And they should change the call on that. You know, the guys on the field, they make the call the way they think they can. It's a bang-bang play. They have the technology to look at it again. And instead of giving the ball to Tennessee on the 1-yard line, which would have been a mistake, they force them to try a field goal. So replay works.
Very reminiscent of a call made in the Vanderbilt-Ole Miss game this afternoon in Nashville. That game won by Vanderbilt. Here is James Wilhoit, 1 of 2 this year, made from 47, missed from 46. This from 37 to break the tie, and it's blocked. It is blocked.
What a turnaround. You get the favorable call on the replay. You make them settle for the field goal, and then you get the block. D. Webb, their best cover corner, coming quickly off the edge for the block. Talk about momentum swings in a ball game.
Special teams play.
Here's Webb on the end. He's going to come in and take a clean shot at the football. Good start. He doesn't get hit, and he gets his right hand, reaches out in front of the football.
Urban Meyer urging his players to not get involved in excessive celebration.
Last year at Utah, Urban Meyer's team blocked 9 kicks, 7 punts, and 2 field goals. That has been a trademark of his teams. What a big one that one was.
We're still tied. Here's the quick flip out to the left side, and a tackle is missed behind the line of scrimmage.
Here's a fumble.
Chad Jackson got it back.
Yep. I saw the beanbag fly out, which told me the ball did come loose.
And a player down.
Now they're still wrestling for the football.
Okay.
They've already ruled that Florida got the recovery, but they're still going at it. And I think it's Tate Casey fighting for the ball.
A 7-7 ball game. Wow, what a turnaround. 3:15 to go. The Swamp. Tennessee trying to become the first team since LSU in the late 70s, early 80s to win 3 straight games here. They won a thriller in 2001. They won a laugher in 2003. They're tied at 7 this evening. Chris Leak pumps once, gets batted down. At the line of scrimmage, Antonio Reynolds, number 89. With a pass defense.
And as comfortable as Chris Leak looked in the first quarter, here's Reynolds right here. He's going to come in and get his hands up. As comfortable as he looked in the first quarter, he doesn't look the same here in the second quarter. The Tennessee defense has done a good job of stuffing the run and then harassing Chris Leak in the passing game. Right now, he needs to make a play to keep that defense resting on the field.
8 of 11 thus far in the ball game. He hit his first 6. They're calling this 3rd and 10. Here's the option. Shovel pass
It's
underneath.
an incomplete pass. It was a shovel pass. It's incomplete.
And there's a flag on the far side of the 20-yard line.
I just don't know that the Florida offense looked in good sync, running at high speed earlier in the ball game. They have not looked that way to me here in the second quarter. There's a penalty on Tennessee that's going to give Florida a break, a huge break, because they were looking at punting the football out of deep in their own territory again.
Offsides, number 98, lining up in the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty, repeat third down.
That's Paris Harrelson, number 98, a senior out of Flora, Mississippi. And it gives Florida a fresh look at a third down. See, only 8 yards in this quarter for the Gator offense.
Well, they haven't had the ball a whole lot, but then when they have had it, they have been very ineffective.
Tennessee with 4 down, and that is as many as they will bring. Here's Leak across the middle, finds Caldwell. A flag, 2 flags are thrown. If the play stands, it's easily a first down for the Gators, a gain of 17.
Well, I think it was holding on Caldwell, but he still was able to shake loose and make the catch. It's going to go against Tennessee, I believe.
And there's Steve Shaw.
Before the pass, holding, number 2 on the defense. That penalty is declined. First down.
Now, Kevin Simon held Andre Caldwell when Caldwell tried to run that crossing route. Caldwell was able to shake loose and still make the catch, but it was still a penalty. Watch Caldwell get held by Simon as he goes across. There's the hold. That draws the flag, but he still makes the catch.
Gain of 17 and a first down, Florida. Play fake. Here's Leak stepping up, drills it, left side, incomplete. At the feet of Chad Jackson, number 8. Second down and 10, and coming up at halftime, back to New York, Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman get you caught up on all the scores and highlights of this busy third full weekend of college football and the Geico halftime report.
That's a throw that ordinarily I think Chris Leak makes. He just doesn't look as comfortable to me right now in what he's doing. He stepped up in the pocket, but he didn't get his feet set, and he made a bad throw to the sideline. He's normally an extremely accurate passer when he's comfortable.
Second and 10 with 2:26 to go. Florida has all 3 of its timeouts remaining. They come from the corner. Omar Gaither got there. Number 44 unimpeded.
Well, he was supposed to be impeded by Drew Miller, the right guard. Drew Miller did a bad job of coming out to pick him up. This was not a blitz. Here's Gaither, and watch the guard come out to block him, but he just kind of dives at him and misses him. There's only 4 guys rushing. Drew Miller doesn't make a very good attempt to block him, and then Gaither gets to the quarterback. 3 sacks now on Chris Leak, but none of them have come in an all-out blitz.
Randy Hand, number 74, the left tackle, limps off the field. So he's on the bench with an injury.
Look at all this movement by the Tennessee defense. They're trying to just confuse the pass protections. A lot of movement. Nobody's showing who's going to rush. Look at all that stuff.
Play clock down to 1 at the snap. They go with a screen left side. No. Jason Allen, number 18.
The All-American sniffed that one out. You know, he made over 100 tackles as a safety last year. He moved back to corner. He had 14 tackles in the first game against UAB. He doesn't miss many tackles in the open field.
Time has been called by Tennessee. Tennessee with 1 timeout remaining. Eric Wilbur on to punt. And he shanks it off the right side of his foot, bounces at the 40 and comes near side. There's also a flag down.
Well, that's not what you were hoping for if you're the Florida Gators. You want Wilbur to bang one there and give Tennessee the long field to go with just over a minute to go here before halftime. I think Tennessee will decline this and start with excellent field position to run their 2-minute offense.
Illegal motion, number 18 on the kicking team. The penalty will be declined. 1st and 10.
So the Volunteers will get it after that 30-yard punt with 1 timeout left and 1:13 on the clock. And Rick Clausen's going to come back on the field. So interchangeable quarterback
I don't understand this. I just, I'm not a big fan of 2 quarterbacks to begin with. I really don't like alternating them in a big game. And with Eric Ainge seeming to be playing pretty well, I don't quite get this one either.
Clausen steps up, screen pass. Gerald Riggs caught and dropped at the 30-yard line. Brandon Seiler, number 40, made the stop. Gerald Riggs, who really emerged last season, 1,107 yards. Such promise. His father, of course, a great running back for the Atlanta Falcons. But he really had an ineffective first 2 seasons. Here's Clausen back. Deep left side. Overthrows the intended receiver. That's Robert Meacham, number 3. Covered by Kyle Jackson, number 3. And it'll be 3rd down.
I'll be interested to see what Tennessee does on this play. Whether they'll try to throw for the 1st down or try to run and keep that clock going. I think Florida, if they get a stop here, they'll call timeout and try to block the punt if they can force Britton Colquitt to punt.
7-7 game, a 1st and goal overturned by the review process, and then a blocked field goal. Leaves us at 7-7 with 45 seconds to go before the break. 3-man rush, draw play. They'll keep it conservative. And the ball out to the 40-yard line. We'll see what Florida opts to do. They've got 3 timeouts remaining. See if they want to leave them in the holster.
It doesn't appear that Urban Meyer wants to use any timeout. No, he's waving it off. At this point, he's saying, look, we're lucky that we're not down right now. After we failed on 4th and 1 and gave them great field position, we're pretty fortunate to go into halftime at 7-7.
I hear a smattering of boos. Two key plays in the second quarter. The first.
This was the play that was ruled a catch on the field. It was overturned by the replay. And then the blocked field goal by D. Webb, which really turned the momentum. But then the Tennessee defense, give them credit, they stopped Florida to stay at tie.
Let's go down to Tracy, who's with Philip Fulmer.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Ainge seemed to be playing pretty well. Why the change to Clausen on that final drive?
We've got 2 quarterbacks. We're going to play both of them. Rick took us down in a 2-minute in the first ball game. Eric is playing very well, but we're pleased with both of those guys.
So will we still see both of them in the second half?
Talk about it and see.
Thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck.
All right, Tracy, thank you. That is the end of the first half with our score notched at 7. Let's go to Tim Brando in our New York studio. Indeed, it is Saturday night in the Swamp. We welcome you back. Vern Lundquist, Todd Blackledge, Tracy Wolfson. 7-7 ball game. Urban Meyer's debut as an SEC coach in league competition. His team scored first. Tennessee came back and tied it up on a catch by Brett Smith. Here is Andre Caldwell. He scored the Florida touchdown on a reverse. Recall that Florida won the toss, deferred until this happened. They will return this kickoff from James Wilhoit. Andre Caldwell comes near side, and he is spilled as he gets out near the 20-yard line. 7-7 ball game as we get set to start the third quarter. What should we look for here?
Well, I think this first possession for Florida is very important. When you look at that first half, yardage-wise, the first quarter was dominated by Florida. The second quarter was dominated by Tennessee. But the most unsettling thing for Florida is in that second quarter, Tennessee really started to control the line of scrimmage. And so this possession, I think, very important for Chris Leak to to get things going with this offense.
And Andre Caldwell, who returned the kickoff, is down. They've already lost Ray McDonald, at least for the night. And there is the hit.
He took a shot right on the thigh. I mean, that was a big-time hit by Turner, flying down there on kickoff coverage.
Caldwell in agony, still down. Andre Caldwell, older brother Reche, played as a wide receiver for this Gator team and in real pain. And another look at this hit. Well, while they continue to tend to Andre Caldwell, time has been called. We'll be right back. Medical staff came out immediately and put an inflatable air cast on the right leg of Andre Caldwell. You just saw Chris Leak, his quarterback, come over and wish him the best. Jason Allen, just before he walked away, reached over and patted Andre Caldwell on the head.
Yeah, as intense as the competition is on the field, there's still that sense of camaraderie. No matter what team you play for, when a guy goes down in the heat of the battle like this, it affects everybody on both teams.
Now they will take him, I would assume, directly to the locker room. Yes, that is the intent. So Ryan Carl was the man who made the tackle, number 39.
It wasn't any kind of flagrant. He just threw himself at Caldwell. And it wasn't his helmet. I think it was his shoulder that just got that right leg directly. And
Andre Caldwell, the junior, taken directly into the locker room of the Florida Gators. Deshaun Wynn is the running back. Chris Leak sends him in motion wide to the right on 1st down and 10 from the 21. Here's Leak back, full-man Tennessee rush across the middle, almost picked off. Whoa, my goodness. Middle linebacker Kevin Simon, number 2.
Well, this was a case where I think Chris Leak was telegraphing where he was going with the football, and Kevin Simon knew he was going for Chad Jackson. He's been his favorite receiver through the first 3 games, and Kevin Simon locked in on the quarterback and almost came up with an interception.
You see, in 2002, it was in this game that he suffered a knee injury that cost him the rest of the season. He also had missed his redshirt freshman year. Here's the shovel pass underneath. Chad Jackson makes the catch, but it'll be 3rd down. Let's take a look now at the halftime stats presented by Red Lobster.
You can see the total yards fairly similar, time of possession similar, the rushing yards, the big difference in that first half. Florida just, after a few good runs by Deshaun Wynn, averaged only 1.5 yards per carry in that first half.
3 wides to the left, 2 to the right. Now you see Chris Leak looking over at the bench. Now out left side to Jamel Cornelius. Play clock down to 2. Leak under pressure. Watch out from behind. He'll have to run, and he is out of bounds. Popped as he gets to the sideline at the 30-yard line. That'll bring up 4th down. It was Kevin Simon giving chase, and Paris Harrelson. That is P-A-R-Y-S. Never forget that story. Last year, I guess it was, we were talking with him and asking why the P-A-R-Y-S. He said, I don't know, let's ask my mom. Yeah. He picked up the phone and called her. She said Paris with a Y sounded more masculine than Paris with an I. Eric Wilbur on to punt, 4th and 1. This one more effective than his last, but oh, bobble. Oh, baby, it's bobble. And it is picked up by the Florida Gators. Tremaine McCollum, one of the twin brothers, Jermaine and Tremaine, And Hefney busted it.
Well, they had a little strange formation, and they were able to release free down the field. I think this is Daryl Gresham, number 43, who's the first guy to get there. Right as the ball is caught, he makes contact and knocks the ball loose. Gresham knocks it loose, and the Gators come up with a huge break off their punt team.
Eric Wilbur following the play. Fumble recovery, 1st and 10, inside the 30. Here's Leak, play fake. Being chased, got him. That's the 4th sack tonight.
Jesse Mahalona got there. Again, this defensive front, the strength of the Tennessee defense asserted itself in the 2nd quarter. And right when this defense needed a big play, they got it again. Here's Mahalona right now. They go play action, but he just fights his way into the backfield. And when that pressure comes from the inside, it's very hard to get away for a quarterback. It's a lot easier to step up in the pocket if the rush comes outside. But when it comes right up the gut, very difficult to elude.
Jesse Mahalona, loss at 9. There's a handoff to Deshaun Wynn, and he gets inside the 35. It'll bring up 3rd and long again. Turk McBride. Jesse Mahalona out of the island of Hawaii, Kauai Kona. 2nd year as a player. Said his mom and dad and the rest of the family not here for this game. They're coming over in a few weeks for back-to-back home games against Ole Miss and Georgia. Wynn 6 for 23, and he's off a 110-yard effort last week.
Here's all that movement by the Tennessee defense on 3rd down again.
They rush 4. Leak belted as he lets it go, and it is caught at the 21-yard line short of the 1st down. Jamel Cornelius makes the grab, the junior from Fort Meade, Florida, and Leak really took a shot.
He took a shot, and he was confused by the coverage. The defense has done a nice job of giving him different looks, and so he doesn't get his feet set real well. He gets hit. He still comes up with the completion, but not enough for the 1st down.
That brings on a walk-on, a junior, Chris Hetland. He'll try it from 39 yards out. Nick Fleming is the holder. James Smith will snap it. This to break a 7-7 tie. It's good. Is good.
That was critical. They had to capitalize off of the fumbled punt return. If they would have got nothing out of that possession, it would have been very, very devastating for the Florida team.
The fumble recovery by Tremaine McCollum. The field goal from Hetland. It's 10-7. Gators. Back at the Swamp, Gainesville, Florida. On your left, Eric Ainge. Well, on your right, Eric Ainge. Yeah, it's a closer picture of Rick Clausen and a double view of both quarterbacks. 10-7. Will the real Eric Ainge please walk on the field? There's Clausen, Jim Bob Cooter. Eric Ainge, 7 of 11 so far. Rick Clausen, 2 of 5. Were you ever involved in a quarterback switch?
Yes. There was one year when I played in the NFL where I was involved in a switch. Homer Smith was our offensive coordinator, and Bill Kinney and I were the quarterbacks in one game up in Seattle. I played on 1st and 2nd down, and Bill Kinney played on 3rd down.
Here's a squib kick.
Didn't work too well.
Get what you can.
And the tackle. Whoa, what a nice special teams play. Tony Joyner.
I want to go back to the punt that was fumbled because, first of all, this is James Smith, the snapper. But look at this formation. Urban Meyer likes to do a lot of different things on his punt team. I misidentified. I said it was Daryl Gresham. There you have 2 number 43s. It was really James Smith, the snapper, who's going to make the play. But they lined up in that fast huddle. That screwed up the protection for Tennessee of who they were going to hold up, and James Smith is down there to make the play.
Split backs. The deep handoff, they fake the reverse. The handoff goes to Gerald Riggs Jr. Well, last year up in Knoxville for this game, 109,000 plus. They burst the seams there. And tonight, 90,716, all-time attendance record here at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville. Second and 9. See Riggs' numbers for the night: 12 carries, 74 yards. There's Ainge, came on in the third series, played much of the second quarter. Robert Meacham on the near side. That's should be enough for a first down at the 31-yard line. Gain of 10. Burnell Brown. Burnell Brown started his career. He's only 5'8", 180 pounds. He was an all-state basketball player in Gainesville. His dad played for the University of Florida, had an uncle who played here. Neither of them graduated. And last spring, Burnell Brown got his degree and said that was his proudest moment. And his dad, who's a detective in Alachua County, concurred. His proudest moment. There's a handoff and a play stuffed at the 31-yard line. It's Riggs Jr.
I think right now what Tennessee is probably thinking, as long as they can keep this game close, 3 points, 6 points, they're not going to get conservative or go to sleep, but they've got to believe that with Ray McDonald out of the game, with the lack of depth up front for Florida, that they can wear this team down with their big offensive line by the time they get into the fourth quarter, as long as they can keep it close.
Second and 9. Blitz, stunts. Ainge throws it right side. That was a dangerous throw in the general direction of Chris Brown, number 28. Nickelback Reggie Lewis looking over to the near side. Number 22. He was beaten on the touchdown pass from Ainge to Fred Smith. Third down.
Looks like there's some confusion with Tennessee on which personnel they want in the game.
Yep.
Robert Meacham, not sure if he's in on this play or not, and Tennessee's probably going to have to call another timeout. They do.
They do.
That's the second time we've seen them have to take a timeout because of a personnel problem. And Randy Sanders visibly upset again.
Lip readers probably winced. A 10-7 ball game. Tennessee facing a third down. They are 1 of 6 on third down conversions thus far tonight. And they will go from the spread formation after they had called timeout. Ainge, the quarterback.
Nobody over the slot receiver at the bottom. I don't know if this is a disguise by the Florida defense or a mistake.
Ainge rolling right, under pressure, throws it away. Fourth down. Stephen Harris, number 93, not known for his speed, showed a little get up and go on that one.
Yeah, he sure did. They had the 3 down line, 6 defensive backs in the game, and watch these 3 big guys. It's only a 3-man rush. Jeremy Mincy loses his helmet but doesn't lose the chase, and Stephen Harris is the guy that forces the throw away. A huge third down stop by the Gator defense.
That brings on the freshman redshirt Britton Colquitt. Fake. Right side, almost intercepted. Oh, boy. Tony Joyner was the closest man to it.
Oh, my gosh. They still get the ball, but they would have had a 10-point lead. And I don't think Philip Fulmer called that. The expression on his face looks like that was his freshman punter making the decision. When he sees this guy move in, he says, this guy's free, I'm going to throw it. But they baited the freshman punter. Watch him come in. The punter makes the decision. The safety flies out and almost scores a touchdown. They baited the young punter into a huge mistake.
On downs after Colquitt misfires on the toss. Here's Florida. The handoff. Deshaun Wynn, a flag on the far side.
I think it's an illegal motion. There was early movement up front for Florida on that play.
I'm going to go back to that Steve Caldwell's a special teams coach. He didn't affect that at all?
I don't think so. I think this is a case where you practice and you tell your punter, hey, if that guy's wide open, throw it to him, okay? And he looked like he was wide open because it looked like they were bringing that guy in to block the punt. But Florida's safety flew out of there at the snap and was right there to make the play.
Illegal formation. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Number 74 did not get up on the line. That's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
We have seen a lot of penalties by Florida that have just been momentum killer kind of penalties. Just they get a big break, they get something good happen, and then they go backwards. And that's inefficiency for this Florida offense right now.
I can hear the coach saying it's a lack of discipline as well. Focus.
Lack of focus.
Pre-snap penalty. 1st and 15. 10-7 ball game. 9:30 to go. Third quarter. Timeout. Florida. Let's revisit this decision by Britton Colquitt, the redshirt freshman, to throw the ball.
Yeah, he thought he had a big play, and it ended up a big mistake, but not as big as it could have been.
Nice scene on the Tennessee sideline while we were away. Britton Colquitt trying to explain to his coach what he saw, why he made the throw, and Philip Fulmer reacting.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one of those standard things. When you work on punt team, you say, hey, if they leave that guy uncovered to go for a block and he's wide open, throw him the football. Let's get the face. It's not a called fake punt, but he got baited that time by the Florida defense.
1st and 15, Florida now back at the 36-yard line. A handoff up the middle to Sean Wynn. He gets to 5 back +1. And let's go down to Tracy Wolfson. Trace.
Thanks, guys. The injuries are piling up for the Florida Gators. Wide receiver Andre Caldwell, as we saw, was taken out on a stretcher. He had an air cast on his right leg. He is out for the game. Defensive end Ray McDonald is also out for the game with a right knee injury. And after that last drive, left guard Tavarius Washington came off to the sideline, reeling in pain, holding his right elbow. If I get any more information, I will bring it to you.
Thank you, Trace. 2nd down and 9. Under 9 to go. Here's the toss right side. It's Wynn. There's a flag down, and Wynn is down at the 21. Close for the first down if the play stands, but it looked like Lance Butler might have moved. Right tackle. Jesse Mahalona. Yeah. Many are touting him as an All-American this year. From the islands in Hawaii, but he knows French. Picked up the phone on the conference call that we were all on Wednesday, and he says, bonjour. Mon ami.
This didn't seem to fit with Big Jesse. Having seen him in person, that didn't seem to fit. Well, another lack of focus penalty on the Florida offense. And again, they get the big play with their special teams. They get good field position, and they proceed to go backwards. Now, credit the Tennessee defense a little bit, too, for playing well in sudden change situations. They've done this a couple times in the ballgame, have had to come in and defend their own territory after a big play, and they've held their own. Big 2nd down play here.
Need 14. And again, Leak is looking over, getting signals being flashed in. And Sean Wynn gets the handoff back to the 31-yard line. Now Red Lobster presents tonight's scholar athlete, Mike DeGore, 5th-year senior with a grade point average of 3.42 and physical education teaching. He's also getting a minor in business and a 3-time SEC academic honor roll. Red Lobster's commitment to the investment of our future is shown today by donating $1,000 to Florida's General Scholarship Fund. This is also the 41st consecutive start for the big center who looks like John Matuzak, Mike DeGore. 3rd down. Wynn starts in motion. He's now alongside Chris Leak. Here comes the pressure. Leak will run. A little dart. He's at the 20. He is down at the 13 with a Gator first down.
And look at the animation in the body language of Chris Leak. He's not run the option one time tonight. Everybody wondered, can Chris Leak run the football? Can he take the hit? This is not a designed run, but an excellent decision. The pocket collapses. He sees an opening. He makes Jonathan Hefney miss, and he gets a huge first down with his legs.
Chris Leak, the junior from Charlotte, North Carolina, with a 17-yard gain. 1st and 10. 10-7 ball game midway through the third. That's Tate Casey in motion, and again,
unbelievable,
for the 5th time tonight. That's 5 pre-snap penalties on Florida.
Yeah, and just it's so frustrating for Urban Meyer and Dan Mullen, the offensive coordinator, because you take 1 step forward and 2 step backward.
Dead ball, false start, number 72 on the offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
One of the sub-themes of this ball game is Chris Leak, of course. His brother C.J. was a reserve quarterback for Tennessee. And C.J. Leak is now a member of the Gators football staff, a former quarterback and safety. I was looking over. Last week they used Josh Portis to flash the signals in. And tonight they're not. Now here's Leak in trouble, down. And there was a lot of speculation, Todd, that C.J. Leak, knowing the hand signals and so on, would be able to be of great assistance to Florida in the preparation for the game. What do you think?
Well, I don't think that was really the case. I mean, I'm sure that he was able to help them with some personnel questions. It's a new coaching staff at Florida, not as familiar with the players as C.J. Leak would be, but it still gets down to execution and still gets down to beating your man at the point of attack. And if you get too caught up in trying to be tricky and guess right and all that stuff, then you're not going to be ready to play physical and execute at the level you need to.
2nd and 20 at the 23. Leak across the middle, caught by Chad Jackson, but that's going to bring up a long 3rd down. Kevin Simon. It was 7-7 at the half. Florida scored first on a reverse. Andre Caldwell, who is now out with what we fear might be a broken leg. Tennessee came back to tie it up on a catch from Brett Smith. It was 7-7 at the half. Then a fumbled punt, really a muffed punt. James Smith forced it. That led to a field goal, 10-7. And now on an errant 4th down pass from the punter, Florida takes over. They now look at a 3rd and 16 at the 19. Here's Leak under pressure. Avoids the sack, but still in trouble. And runs out of bounds. That should ensure a field goal attempt.
Great job by Chris Leak. Now, not very good protection up front. And you see some tired offensive linemen for Florida, but that was only a 4-man rush, and that pocket collapsed quickly. But Chris Leak did a good job of preserving the field goal, because if he gets sacked right there, they may be out of field goal range. Does a nice job of getting as much as he can get to enable them to try for 3 more.
And that's going to bring on the walk-on, the junior, Chris Hetland, who is 1 for 1 tonight, 3 for 3 for the season. This will be from 35 yards out to add to the lead. Perfect.
I'll say this. It's good to be the team in front, but if you're Tennessee, you got to feel pretty good about yourself. Even though Britton Colquitt made a mistake, his defense bailed him out. It's a 1-possession football game.
13-7, 5:14 to go in the 3rd quarter. After the abortive attempted pass by the punter on 4th down, Tennessee does hold and yields only a field goal.
It's got a little bit of a similar feel to that game last week in Columbus that we got a chance to watch last week between Texas and Ohio State. I'll explain after the kick.
Here's the kick from Wilbur. Hannon and Enke Johnson gets it and is out to the 23-yard line. Tomorrow on the NFL Today, Leslie Visser has a special interview with Brett Favre as he talks about his career, his future and his life on and off the field, and also a feature on Cadillac Williams, number 5 draft pick out of Auburn. He and Ronnie Brown, 2 of the top 5 this year. Eric Ainge continues at quarterback.
That game last week, Ohio State had good field position and had opportunities to put that game away, but couldn't score touchdowns. And because they had to settle for field goals, it allowed Texas to stay right in there, 1 touchdown behind. Very similar setup right now here in the 3rd quarter.
Lob down the right side and a little bit of a tussle. And it is time now for the question of the week. You know, I haven't seen you since a basketball game in February and January. I missed that. Name the 3 Tennessee quarterbacks who have a brother whose team played against the Vols. Gee, I wonder if the focus on number 16 is any kind of a hint. Second down. There's a hook to that question, by the way. Here's Ainge. He's got a man open up at the 32-yard line. The catch made by Brett Smith.
Just short at the first down. We'll bring up a 3rd down and short play for Tennessee.
Brandon Seiler with the tackle. Well, this is it was a troubled summer off-season for Philip Fulmer and the Volunteers. 7 incidents since the Cotton Bowl. Arrests or misdemeanors. 4 players suspended for 8 games. And at the beginning of the season, Tony McDaniel, one of those who's sitting out tonight, Jesse Mahalona, 2 of the guys who stood up, took responsibility for their errant actions and apologized to their team. Here's the handoff on 3rd and short, and Riggs fights for it. Brandon Seiler with the tackle. And we can't ignore the fact that last year, the University of Florida had 7 players arrested or involved in incidents on and off campus. Urban Meyer came in and said that is going to cease, and they have gone without an incident. That's not to say it's not going to happen, but
and it's not to suggest that there's not discipline in the Tennessee program.
Absolutely.
Just, some of those things are cyclical, and you get a lot of 18 and 19-year-old kids that make bad decisions sometimes, and it takes a little bit to shake them up.
On 1st down, Ainge, pump fake, right side. Oh, boy.
Miscommunication between Jason Swain and the quarterback, Eric Ainge, and Ainge very lucky that he didn't get that one picked off. This was a situation where it was a one-man route out here. And Eric Ainge thought the receiver was going deep, but that's not what Jason Swain did. He broke this one to the outside. Only one guy going out. Everybody else pass protecting. He broke it off, and it almost was intercepted.
D. Webb, who almost picked it off, limping. He's bouncing up and down out there at the top of your screen, and he's got to get busy and cover right now. Anderson out of the backfield, the big fullback. Here's Ainge back. And a 3-snap penalty. Brett Smith, number 9.
Dead ball, false start, number 76, the left tackle, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
This is where Eric Ainge has to be very smart. 2nd down and long in your own territory. Be smart with the football. You don't have to get it all back in one play. Make good decisions with the ball in your hand.
Ainge only 2 of his last 8. Sidearms that one. Oh, boy, he got away with one. Oh, dear.
I was just about to say that was not a good decision. But he had a very fortunate result because Chris Brown went up and got the football for him. Eric Ainge is throwing this off his back foot, moving away. A very dangerous throw that Chris Brown bailed out his quarterback. In between 3 Gator defenders, made a miracle catch.
3rd and 1, 12 completions to 9 different men.
I think you got to run behind Aaron Sears here. 3rd down and 1.
If so, that means they'll come left. They go right. They got the 1st down to the 45-yard line. Brandon Seiler, number 40, makes the tackle.
I think Tennessee needs to get back. Now that they got another fresh set of downs, I think they got to get back to running the football a little bit. Get back into bloody in the nose of the Gator defense. Again, this defensive front not only are they much smaller than Tennessee up front, they don't have the same kind of depth that Tennessee has in their defensive line. These guys that are out there right now, for the most part, are going to have to play the entire fourth quarter. Try to take a little wind out of their sails by running right at them.
Pretty even distribution, as you see. Here's Ainge with a play fake. It'll come back pattern and a nice defensive play. Vernell Brown.
You know, they're going one-man routes and trying to throw against man coverage, and I don't think the Tennessee receivers are good enough to make big plays against these Gators. But I do think Tennessee can run the football right at this undersized Florida defense.
Greg Clausen started the game 2 of 5. Gave way to Eric Ainge in the third series. The only other time we've seen Clausen was the last minute and a half of the first half. He's not played here in the second half. 2nd and 10. Toss, good block, cutback play. And Riggs moves it across the 50. That's a gain of 8. Marcus Thomas, number 44, with a touch.
The only criticism the coaches had of Gerald Riggs the first game was he didn't see some of the cuts. Well, he saw that one because Florida did a nice job of cutting off the outside. Reggie Lewis came across the line and forced him inside, and he made a quick cut back inside to pick up good yardage.
3rd and 2. In a 13-7 game.
They're not going to have time to change the play. They're going to have to call another timeout. And you got to remember, Eric Ainge is a true sophomore. He's still not a veteran guy.
Time called. Tennessee with 1 remaining. Back in Gainesville, Florida leading 13-7 with 91 seconds to go. Third quarter, Tennessee across the 50 now. 3rd and 2. High formation. Eric Ainge, the sophomore quarterback. Running back is Riggs.
I want to watch a pass to the fullback, Corey Anderson here. They like to throw to him on short yardage.
Hand it off instead to Riggs, and he does not get it.
Nowhere near it. They chose to go right and watch the play of the tackles inside. Stephen Harris and Marcus Thomas made some nice plays. Thomas got some penetration. Jarvis Herring came up from his safety position to get into the backfield and force the Tennessee punt.
Britton Colquitt is on to punt. Vernell Brown at the 10 awaits it for 4. Oh boy.
There's a penalty flag down too.
Yes, at the 43-yard line. That's an 8-yard punt if it stands.
Well, it was after the punt. I just don't know who it's going against.
To find out.
During the kick, holding number 18 on the receiving team. That'll be 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st and 10, Florida.
Well, holding against Florida. Third and 2 just a moment ago.
Yeah, they tried to go with their power run, and Florida was up for the task. Got penetration. You know, a game like this, close-fought battle, both defenses playing well. It comes down to those short yardage situations. We've seen Florida turned away, and that time we saw Tennessee stopped on 3rd and short.
Spread offense now for Chris Leak and the Gators. On 1st down from the 30. Sean Wynn charges over the back of his center.
That was a good run. From a team that has not had many good runs since the first quarter, that was a very positive run inside for Deshaun Wynn.
Now look how close this rivalry has been over the last 6 games. 145 points for the Vols, 150 for the Gators.
Yardage per game fairly even. Wins 3 apiece. The point to be made, though, is Philip Fulmer had not won in 4 trips down here until 2001, and that was a huge victory. They won it 34-32, and won again in 03. Second down.
I don't think Florida got that play off. Oh, end of the quarter. There we go.
That's the end of 3. Our score 13-7 Gators. We'll return to Gainesville right after this word from your local station. Back at the Swamp, where one of the traditions here at the University of Florida is the rendition of We Are the Boys at the end of the 3rd quarter. That's Todd Bunce on the bench. Urban Meyer said he wasn't familiar with that tradition until the Wyoming game here, and he turned around and got caught up in it. He started singing.
Yeah.
We begin the 4th quarter. Vern Lundquist, Todd Blackledge, Tracy Wolfson from the Swamp. Florida leading 13-7. And under Philip Fulmer, you see 15-27 record. And this one is Deshaun Wynn. As Florida continues to try and hold on to this football. Impressions of the first 3.
Well, I think it's been a great, hard-fought game in terms of defense. I think both defenses played very well. The difference in the game clearly has been Florida's special teams have outperformed Tennessee's special teams. They had a blocked field goal. They had a fumbled punt. Then they went for the fake with Britton Colquitt that they missed on 4th and 10. So those special teams plays has been the difference in this 6-point ball game so far.
Well, it's 13-7 right now as we get back to play here early in the 4th quarter, 3rd and 1. Leak has Tate Casey going in motion and off to Wynn. He's got the first down out to the 43-yard line.
I think this drive for Florida is very important, if for no other reason, even if they don't score, to change field position and to rest their defense. Dan Mullen was telling us that Urban Meyer's philosophy, he's a big field position guy. He says offensively, if we can get 2 first downs, even if we don't score, we can get hidden yardage with a punt and make our defense go onto the field in good position. So this drive, very important to eat up some clock, rest your defense.
1st and 10. Wynn buried. Jason Hall, number 94, 2nd and long.
And that might be a case where Chris Leak needs to pull that one out. If they're optioning that end and that end collapses down on the running play, that's the read for Chris Leak. If it was the option, he's got to keep that one and bring it to the outside.
Against Wyoming, 2.5 yards per carry. Deshaun Wynn, as we said, had a big game last week against Louisiana Tech. But tonight they've reverted to game 1 status. Casey in motion. Leak gives it to Wynn again. They won't pad their average on that play. That'll bring up 3rd and 12 at least. And the murmurs. Yeah. This is a crowd that they got so used to winning here, I think, under the Spurrier regime, that these last 3 years have been difficult. 5 losses in each of the last 3, and 6 of those losses at home.
Well, and not just winning here, but winning big. Remember, we talked to Todd McCullough. He said when he was a kid and he used to come to Florida games, the question wasn't whether Florida would win. It was how much are they going to win by today. There's a penalty against Florida now, breaking the huddle with 12 guys on the field.
Illegal substitution on the offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down. He didn't.
Well, Urban Meyer is trying to plead his case. And Chris Leak is out there arguing against that penalty, too. That is the 9th penalty. Many of them dead ball, pre-snap penalties, yes.
And that's the thing that come Monday morning when they meet, as much as he is a stickler for focus and discipline and concentration and being well prepared, they have just really hurt themselves momentum-wise with mental mistakes, not physical mistakes, mental mistakes.
3rd and 19. Now the look over at the sidelines. Matt Kynes, a 4th-string quarterback, is signaling the formation in. And there's a catch by Dallas Baker. Oh, wow! Dallas Baker, who was really the GOAT of the loss last year when he was flagged for a penalty and a personal foul. Big catch.
Yeah, big time catch. He's the ex-receiver, and he normally gets single coverage out here. It's the seam post. It's thrown perfect timing-wise by Chris Leak, and a huge conversion on 3rd and long.
That's a 24-yard gain. Here's Leak back to the near side. It's Baker again, and this time he loses yardage. Last year, with 55 seconds to go in the game, remember what happened on the far side of the field? Jonathan Wade, there's the slap and the retaliation. Bobby Morrow threw the flag, later admitted he should have had offsetting penalties. There was also a botched decision by the officiating crew regarding the clock. They did not start it, and Baker was vilified really for that mistake, and it wound up helping Florida or Tennessee to the win. False start, Florida again. 5-yard penalty. Baker hurting as he goes out. Win to the 44. Justin Harrell with a tackle.
It appears that Urban Meyer and Dan Mullen right now are really trying to work clock, running the football a tad on the conservative side, which is okay, but I think they need one more score, because right now Tennessee is just a touchdown away from being in the lead. Even though it appears that Florida has some control in the game right now, they're only 6 points in front.
Dan Mullen, the offensive coordinator, came here with Urban Meyer off the University of Utah staff. Here's Gwynn in motion. Leak flips it out right side. Incomplete. It will be 3rd and 12. 3rd and 11. $10:57 to go in the 4th. Florida 6 of 13 on 3rd downs.
Well, the last 3rd down and long, they went to Dallas Baker on the post.
Tennessee brings 4. Leak will pull up and hot fired. He's got a man open. Jamel Cornelius, and another 3rd and huge conversion.
The last 2 3rd down conversions, both over 10 yards. And both of them because Chris Leak made good decisions. He threw the post to Baker on timing. This time he steps up in the pocket, thinks about running for a moment, but never takes his eyes off downfield. Watch as he starts to scramble. He sees Cornelius open up and gets the 1st down with an alert play.
That's the 2nd gain of 24 when the need was 3rd and long. 1st down and 10 at the 20. Win out of the backfield. Again, a 4-man rush. Leak goes right, waves, tucks it. Out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Chased there by Turk McBride, number 90. You know, you and I have talked with Chris Leak now for the last 2.5 years. I don't recall a player who's blossomed in terms of his willingness to speak to guys like you and me that Chris Leak has in the last year.
Well, and I credit this coaching staff because they had to start with that way on the field, because he never used to talk on the field. They used all silent cadence. He never had to shout and direct traffic with his voice. They've made him be a vocal leader. 2nd
down and 5. Keyston Moore is in the backfield. And Keyston Moore tests the middle. He's inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. Chris always used to pride himself on the amount of film that he watched, but Urban Meyer came in and said, Chris, you're watching it all by yourself. Why don't you watch it with your teammates? Become a vocal leader. And we certainly noticed in our conversation with him Thursday, willing to provide insight, laughed and cut up and talked about his experience. Said he grew up, he was not a Florida fan or a Tennessee fan. His favorite team was the University of Nebraska. Option team.
Now he gets to run the option, although he hasn't run the option yet tonight. With all this talk about Chris Leak running the option, hasn't run it on the option one time.
3rd and 3. Right side, he's got another one. He's 9 of 10 converting on third downs this evening.
Wow. Third down and short. Slot receiver right here. Chris Leak sees him. His favorite target, Chad Jackson. That's easy pitch and catch. That's an option route for the slot receiver. The defender was inside. He breaks outside.
And another huge conversion on this drive. First down. Trying to add to a 6-point lead with 9:06 to go. Low snap. Leak picks it up. Chased by Gerard Mayo. Fires it in the end zone. It is incomplete.
Well, that play had some problems from the beginning because of a low snap from Mike DeGore. That kind of disrupted the timing. There was an inside blitz, and that might have affected the snap by DeGore. Tennessee thinking, hey, we got to knock them out of scoring territory right now. They decided to come with pressure on that first down play.
Well, it's a hot, muggy night, and you see some heavy size from that heavy defensive unit. Gasping for breath a little bit now. They've been on the field for a long time.
This has been an incredible drive for Florida. And it all happens because you convert on third down. You keep the football.
Timeout, Florida. They will have one remaining. And the clock still running. That's interesting. Now it finally stops with 8:50 to go, but lost a few seconds there after they call timeout. Urban Meyer doesn't know that yet, but he will shortly. Whoa, call time.
And now it's time for our Geico scoring recap.
Florida opened it up. The reverse. Andre Caldwell in for the touchdown. 7-0 Florida. Tennessee answered with this Eric Ainge pass to Brett Smith. It was 7-7 at the half. That was Chris Hetland time. He tacked the first field goal from 39 yards out and then added one more from 35 yards out. That's where we stand midway through the fourth quarter. 13-7. Florida leads it, and under Urban Meyer, they are threatening again. They look at a second down and goal.
One of the things that they were so good with at Utah was in the red zone. Last year, that's touchdowns. They had 64 possessions in the red zone last year at Utah, 62 scores, 55 touchdowns. Tonight, 2 times in the red zone. This is their third trip in here. They have a touchdown and a field goal. They would love to add another touchdown here.
As they break the huddle, Dallas Baker and Chad Jackson go wide to the right. Cornelius and Kyle Morgan come to this Deshaun Wynn near side. Now that was Wynn in the backfield. He gets the handoff, and Wynn down to the 3-yard line. So Kyle Morgan, 28, was the wideout, and Wynn, 21, in the backfield. Well, they won their first 2 games, but they did not excel on third down conversions in those wins over Wyoming and Louisiana Tech. 7 of 25 tonight, 8 of 15.
And in those first 2 games, it wasn't as critical. You know, in a game like this, time of possession is critical because you want to rest your defense. You want to wear out the opposing defense. You want to hold on to the football. And the only way to possess the football is to convert on third down.
15th play of the drive. 1-5. Wynn behind Leak. Jackson in motion. Here's the rollout. Leak pulls up, throws it away. Paris Harrelson with the pressure. And we're going to see Chris Hetland, I would believe.
Yeah, I think that's the smart play. I mean, you've got to go up by 9 and make it a 2-score game. Your defense is rested. They've played extremely well. They've only given up 7 points. Get another field goal, kickoff, and let your defense come out and play.
James Smith will snap it. Nick Fleming will hold it. And Chris Hetland will kick it from 19 yards away, and it's perfect.
There's a flag down, though.
Yes, there is. 2 of them, as a matter of fact. Offside? No, you don't take points off the board.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. You got 3 up there. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Offsides, number 44 on the defense. The penalty is declined. Field goal is good.
That was a huge drive, and it chewed time off the clock. Just gouged it out. Bill Fulmer's not very happy. Midway through the fourth quarter, that sustained drive by Florida, 16 plays. They chewed off more than half of the fourth quarter. Lead 3 of 3 and 55 yards on third down. And it's 16-7. Urban Meyer going after his 19th consecutive win. The only streak longer in college football Division I is Pete Carroll at USC, 23. And Chris Leak was terrific in that 16-play drive.
Boy, he sure was.
Eric Wilbur will kick off. Inky Johnson, number 29. Chris Hannon, number 13 of the deep men. Eric Ainge getting ready. Squib kick into the end zone. That'll be a touchback as Hannon chases it back. Well, it is time now to answer the Aflac trivia question of the night. Rick Clausen, of course, a part of all this. Name the 3 Tennessee quarterbacks who have a brother whose team played against the Vols. Well, the answer in part is Rick Clausen because he started his career at Louisiana State. And the other 2, Peyton Manning and C.J. Leak. Peyton Manning's brother Eli at Ole Miss. C.J. Leak, his brother Chris here. Casey Clausen is now a graduate assistant at Mississippi State. Last time he was here, he led the band in Waukee-Top after the Volunteers won. Here's Eric Ainge back to throw. Good protection. Has a man wide open, deep left side at the 38-yard line. Catch made by Robert Meacham.
It was a big completion for Eric Ainge because after starting the game 7 for 9 and being in a pretty good flow that first half, he was 3 of his next 10, so that was a huge completion. I think the reason he's still in is because he is the better pure passer, and they've got to score twice now. They've got to have a little sense of urgency and make some plays throwing the football. They don't have to abandon their run, but they're going to probably have to make some big plays throwing the football.
1st and 10 with under 8 to go. Keep in the back of your mind that they've used 2 timeouts. They have only 1 left. Bad snap. Ainge has to fall on it back at the 20.
He learned from last year, you know, that Notre Dame game when he got hurt. Smart decision. I mean, they went really far backwards, but he did the right thing of just falling on that football and not trying to pick it up and make something special happen. Florida threatening blitz right in here. That's what the center's seeing. Richie Gandy, again, his first game back. He's so in a hurry to block the blitz that he forgot to make a good snap first.
Second and 25.
Corner blitz.
Ainge hit as he lets it go. He's got a man open. Good coverage by D. Webb on Jason Swain. Third and 25.
Well, the blitz came from out here in the corner. I'm not sure that Eric Ainge saw it, but he tried to hit Swain down the sideline. But again, going against the top cover guy, D. Webb. It's a zone defense, and D. Webb is looking back at the quarterback the whole way. And that quarterback, Eric Ainge, took a shot from Vernell Brown. Good thing Vernell only weighs about 160 pounds.
It can get noisy in the swamp.
Oh, boy. Down to 2 seconds.
Stunts defensively. Ainge steps up. Shovel pass. He got it to Riggs. And Riggs high steps out of a tackle and is out of bounds at the 39-yard line.
Now, that's a heck of a play by Eric Ainge and Gerald Riggs, because even though they didn't get the first down, they got the ball out close to midfield, where if Britton Colquitt gets a good punt, they can at least pin Florida down deep. An alert play by Eric Ainge, avoiding the sack by Mincy and getting something on that third down play.
Fourth down. Britton Colquitt is on to punt. Vernell Brown at the 25. Returnable, but Vernell Brown's going to let that. Oh, he picks it up. And then he is nailed as he gets to the 26-yard line. 42-yard punt, 7 on the return.
Now remember, the defense was just on the field for what, 16 plays?
Right.
They got a 4-play break there. They're still going to be tired on this offensive possession.
It is a sweltering Saturday evening, 16-7 Florida. They have a 9-point lead, and they just went 16 plays with the ball. So this tired Volunteer defense back on the field.
And I think for Florida, even though you have the lead and even though it's 2 scores, I don't think you want to sit on it right here. I think you still want to be a little aggressive and attack this Tennessee defense. Be smart with the ball, but stay in attack mode.
5 wide. Here's Leak. Comes near side, and it's caught at the 31-yard line. And
there's a face mask.
Absolutely.
At the end of the play.
Jason Mitchell is arguing that he caught the shoulder pad and not the face mask.
Well, and he might have, but it looked like a face mask, and that's what the official saw, was the body jerk back.
Hear what he said? Did you get a good look? Let's take a look.
He's got him around the neck and the shoulder. I don't think he had the face mask, but again, from behind, that's what it looked like. Now, a penalty like that is not a reviewable situation.
There was no flag.
That's good officiating.
The shoulder, not the face mask. Second down.
That's a nice piece of officiating.
That is excellent officiating.
You bet it is.
That's a guy getting a little help from the rest of the crew.
And the first thing Steve Shaw said when he came over, did you get a good look? And there was a conference, and again, they got it right. Steve Shaw, who was, he saw the national championship game last year. I thought I'd got through the whole evening without mentioning BCS, but I guess I've just got to let it out. Well, Urban Meyer, 41 years of age. We mentioned he started his coaching career as a grad assistant at Ohio State. He has 4 autographed pictures in his office wall. One of Earl Bruce, one of Sonny Lubick, his head coach at Colorado State, and the other 2 both with a Notre Dame connection, Lou Holtz and Bob Davie. And he says those 4 men each influenced him in separate ways. And then he also has a quote from John Wooden, the legendary basketball coach. And he said, Coach Wooden once said, "Don't treat players the same. Treat them the way they deserve to be treated." Urban Meyer said he learned a lot from hearing that 30 years ago. And, oh, my goodness. Chris Leak
he just dropped it.
Just dropped it.
Yeah, he just dropped the ball. Tennessee very lucky they didn't get a personal foul penalty on Jason Hall. For whatever reason, at the end of that play, Jason Hall just kind of thumped on somebody. Chris Leak dropped the ball, and Jason Hall being helped off the field by a teammate. They're lucky that didn't get called. But a big stop for Tennessee nonetheless. They'll get the ball back in good field position.
4th and 13. Jonathan Hepney back to return the punt of Eric Wilbur. One of the big plays tonight when Hepney bobbled or muffed a punt. It led to a field goal that broke a 7-7 tie. And here's Hepney. Fair catch called for and taken at the 39-yard line. That is a 39-yard punt. 4 minutes and 28 seconds remaining in the Swamp. Gators by 9. CBS Sports Line stat of the game. It involves special teams.
Yeah, it really does. Tennessee's miscues, a blocked field goal, a fumble on a punt return, a failed fake punt. And on the other side of that, 3 for 3 for Chris Hetland of Florida.
Get complete game stats at CBSSportsline.com. 1st and 10. Tennessee down by 9. 4:28 to go. 1 timeout left. 3-man Gator rush. Ainge, far side. That's good for a first down across the 50. Brett Smith, number 9, with the catch. And a gain of 13. Well, Charlie Strong was the defensive coordinator here with the Ron Zook coaching staff. But he had a Notre Dame connection, both to Urban Meyer and this man, Greg Madison. So they are now, Madison and Strong, co-defensive coordinators at Florida. And seems to work well. Here's a quick, oh, brother, Vernell Brown. He'll talk a little smack now.
Well, he read it. He was quickly there. He made the sure tackle, and he kept the receiver in bounds. He did a lot of things well on this play. Beat the block, read the play, made the tackle, kept him in bounds, kept the clock going. Because the clock is a friend of the Florida Gators right now.
2nd and 13. Blitz. Ainge chased out of the pocket to the right side. Throws it away.
Now the big question is, did that ball get past the line of scrimmage? If it did, there's no penalty. If it did not cross the line of scrimmage, that's intentional grounding. The line of scrimmage is the 49-yard line. Does the ball get past the line of scrimmage? You're allowed to throw it away if you get outside the tackle box. If the ball crossed the line of scrimmage, that's just a good heads-up play by Eric Ainge. Apparently, it did. 3rd and long again for the Volunteers, who have not been very good on 3rd down tonight. Blitz again. Look out.
Got him.
Now that's intentional ground.
Yeah,
they're calling him down.
Steve Shaw says he was down.
Yeah.
So it'll be 4th down.
The last time they came with that blitz, the same blitz, Jeremy Mincy came too far inside, and Ainge was able to get outside. This time, he took a little different angle, and Earl Everett didn't lose outside contain and was able to sack him. Back-to-back plays. Greg Madison and Charlie Strong said, let's go after the quarterback. And it's now or never for Tennessee on 4th down.
4th and 24. Charlie Strong, Greg Madison. They apparently will rush 3 and drop 8. 4th and 24. From under center, Ainge steps up, drills it. Contact, no flag. Todd McCullough, the senior, the 5th-year linebacker, was in good coverage. Philip Fulmer against first-year SEC coaches coming into this game had won 13 games and lost only 3. And those 3 were to Nick Saban, Mark Richt, Ron Zook.
Now here's Todd McCullough. You see, these guys are so deep. They're saying, hey, let's just don't give up a big play. Todd McCullough's playing the underneath coverage. Gets a deep drop. There is a little contact on his way to the football. Even if the catch is made, it's well short of the first down.
First and 10, 2:35 to go. Deshaun Wynn will work on the clock. Paris Harrison with the tackle. Eric Ainge asking a little pass interference call, but it's not coming. Urban Meyer's doing a little coaching. Meanwhile, time has been called. 2:27 remaining. Time now to take a look at the play of the game presented by Wrangler 5-Star Premium Denim Jeans. Here's the call from Mick Huber of the Radio Network of the University of Florida.
Win in the game as the running back. Now Chad Jackson comes in motion. Here's Leak on an option play. On an end around, tosses the ball to Bubba Caldwell to the 20, to the 15, the 10, to the 5, to the goal line. He's in! Touchdown! Oh, my! Beautiful deception on misdirection. 18-yard touchdown. It's 6-0.
We gotta get Mick Huber to get a little enthusiastic about this game. Eric Ainge, long night. Played much more than I think he thought he would, or we thought he would. But he had the hot hand there in the first half of play. Now Chris Leak, who will keep it on the ground, I'm sure. Tennessee is out of timeouts, and Leak is going to wind up without an interception for the third game in a row. There's Leak running it.
There is one streak that's going to end for Chris Leak, though, and that is throwing touchdown passes in consecutive games. He's thrown a touchdown pass in every game he started. But I think he'll trade that for a signature win if they can hold on here over Tennessee. He was 0-2 against the Tennessee Volunteers. His best win at home was last year against South Carolina. This is the biggest win for Chris Leak as a Florida Gator here at home.
Undefeated in high school, 46-0. But 15-8 as a starter, I would think safe to say his biggest win yet. 3rd and 5. He'll keep it, and it'll be 4th down. 1:38. Urban Meyer is 95 seconds away from his first victory. Just a moment as this game winds down. Last Sunday, sports broadcasting lost one of its giant heroes. Chris Schenkel passed away at the age of 82, and for those of us who grew up in the 50s and 60s, Chris Schenkel was a legend. If there was a big game in college football, Chris Schenkel was there, usually with Bud Wilkinson, all through the 60s and the early 70s. Our best wishes to his wife, Fran, his widow, and the kids and the grandkids. Chris Schenkel, hero of mine, died last week at 82 years of age. Cast a giant shadow. Less than a minute to go. Florida calls time. They're about to go 3-0 under Urban Meyer. Now one of Urban Meyer's charges as he becomes the head coach at the University of Florida is to rekindle the mystique of the Swamp.
Well, I think they took a big step in that direction tonight. And I'll tell you my biggest observation of this Florida team right now, they are a much more well-conditioned team than they were a year ago. And last year, they didn't know how to finish some games the last couple years. This team knew how to finish tonight. They were strong in the fourth quarter on the offense and defensive lines.
On 4th down, Leak is going deep into triple coverage. It's incomplete. It'll come back and go over on downs to the Volunteers.
I don't think there were supposed to be two guys running next to each other in the end zone on that play. As you can tell, I mean, this offense still has some kinks to work out, but they gutted out a victory tonight if they hold on here with 50 seconds. I mean, they lost their best defensive lineman, Ray McDonald. They lost one of their key receivers in Andre Caldwell. They've had offensive linemen kind of hobbling around throughout the game, and they toughed it out against a bigger team on the offensive and defensive lines in Tennessee. Outstanding defensive performance.
7 points tonight, the fewest against Florida since 1994. 50 seconds to go. 3-man rush. Here's Ainge. He'll run it out of bounds and stop the clock with 42 seconds to go. Well, I've got a little time here for a social note. Our spotter, Joe Castana, will be absent from this booth for the next 4 weeks. Heading back to the Boston area, where he is going to marry the lovely Cheryl Dykeman in Woodstock, Vermont on the 8th of October. South Africa for a honeymoon. What, you're going to miss Tuscaloosa for that?
He's going to see some elephants.
Yeah.
Just not the same ones we're going to see.
Oh, goodness. 2nd and 4. Joe, congratulations. See you in a month. Almost intercepted. And of course we have our normal crew back as Todd and I begin our 6th year together, and Matt Sign is back with us, and Santa Monica Chuck Gardner. Good to have the crew back. Well, Philip Fulmer's team back-to-back against top 10 teams for the first time ever under Fulmer on the road. Back-to-back on the road. They've got to play at LSU next Saturday night. 3rd and 4 here.
LSU off today, so they are resting up in anticipation of their home opener.
Ainge almost intercepted. Oh, Brandon Seiler, number 40.
You know, I don't know if they have a quarterback controversy. I don't think it's that, because you don't have a controversy if the two guys get along and work well together. And Rick Clausen and Eric Ainge do. I just think you have some indecision. You know, you come into a game like this. I thought we would see Rick Clausen the majority of the game because of his game management. They decided to go with Eric Ainge because he seemed like he had the hot hand. I just don't think you can play and win big games going with who has the hot hand. At some point, I think a team needs to see on 3rd down and 9 who the guy is that's going to make the play. And they don't have to try to guess which guy that's going to be.
On 4th down, here's Ainge. That one tipped, incomplete. Goes over on downs. It was D. Webb. It's been a costly victory for these guys,
Absolutely.
though. Ray McDonald, we don't know the severity of the right knee. Andre Caldwell with a right leg injury. Both out with injuries. And there's Ray McDonald on crutches.
But even without Ray McDonald, the Florida defense did what they had to do. Their front 7 defended the run extremely well, held Tennessee to well under 100 yards. And their pass defense, that was the big question. Could Tennessee beat their man coverage? The answer was an emphatic no tonight.
You see Urban Meyer, you think he's enthusiastic on the sidelines? Dan Mullen, the offensive coordinator, said, I'm the calm one. I'm here to just take care of the head coach.
There's a penalty flag down.
Yep.
I think they've got offsides or something. Yeah, declined.
Penalty is declined.
Run the clock.
Starts. Steve Shaw showing the wisdom of the ages. Philip Fulmer. They won the last 2 here, not to be denied. It was 7-7 at the half. Big second half for the Gators of Florida. Urban Meyer now coaching in his 50th game. He's 42-8 through the first 50. And he's 1-0 in the SEC. Our player of the game, Florida quarterback Chris Leak. No interceptions, no touchdowns tonight. First win against Tennessee. We go down to Tracy Wolfson.
Thanks, Vern. Urban, congratulations. Welcome to the SEC. So what do you think?
That's it. That was 2 very good defenses playing. What an atmosphere. That's as nice as atmosphere has ever been in.
Thanks so much. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks for doing our game.
I've got a feeling we'll do a couple more before it's all over. I've never had a head coach thank you for doing his game.
It's only his 50th game. Remember that.
Florida wins it 16-7. They're 1-0, and they trail only the Vanderbilt Commodores in the SEC. For Tracy Wilson, Todd Blackledge, I'm Vern Lundquist saying good night from the swamp, where the Gators get a muggy win. We'll see you from somewhere next week.